Good morning, everyone. This is Brandon, the Twitter Doctor Career. I'm here today with Sean Croxton from Undergroundwellness. Sean is a holistic lifestyle coach, functional diet nutritionist, wealth of knowledge about social media, social networking, video, radio. He's got Blog Talk Radio. Sean, thank you for coming out for this interview. How are you doing this morning?
Thanks. I'm good. Thanks so much for having me, Brandon.
So, Sean, I know a lot about you because I've known you for years. The guys who are watching this, tell them a little bit about yourself and what you've kind of done since you started as a holistic lifestyle coach to the guru you are right today.
I wouldn't call myself a guru at all. I'm just a guy. I'm a guy with a webcam and a keyboard. That's really it. Basically, what I've done over the last 4 or 5 years, I've just taken kind of unfortunately obscure, alternative, I shouldn't even call it alternative, but just real health information, real fitness information, and just put it out there to the masses by these really cool forums we have, that are called YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and Blog Talk Radio and, WordPress as well. And I've just been able to utilize those and use them to my advantage to get what's not in the mainstream out to people who need to know about it.
It's awesome. Now, how long have you been doing this, Sean?
Anywhere between 4 and 5 years. I can't remember exactly when I started. Maybe 5 years ago when YouTube was fairly new, like the first year of YouTube.
Nice. Now, you started with YouTube first, or did you start with Blog Talk Radio? Where did you first start?
I started with YouTube. I found out about YouTube through some online program I was taking, and I thought it was really cool. And I just started making videos about, actually a lot of the videos weren't even right. It was kind of bad information, but people really liked my presentation. And so I had a YouTube channel called The Food Dude, and then it was Food Dude TV, and then eventually it was like, what year was that? 2007, November 6th, 2007 is when I started the Undergroundwellness channel, and I just stuck to that one, and it's grown pretty fast. And so I went from YouTube, and a year later went to Blog Talk Radio. So I do both, and Blog Talk Radio has been very successful, and that's where I kind of get that third-party credibility and am able to interview the authors of the books and articles and whatnot that I'm reading, which is pretty cool. And not only do I get to interview them, but since Blog Talk Radio is a live broadcast, which can be podcast, but an archive for people to listen to later. But since it's a live broadcast, my followers, what I call my peeps, can call in and ask people the guest questions as well, which is pretty cool. So it allows for a lot of connection and engagement as well.
Now, you talk about Blog Talk Radio, and you talk about, you talk to other experts. Someone starting out, they might think, and I've heard this, that it's extremely difficult to be able to start the technology side and then to be able to engage and interact with these guys that are experts in these books. What advice would you give them?
What was the first part of the question? I spaced out for 8 seconds. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. What was the first part of the question? I'm sorry.
As you know, guys, for example, with the technology starting to come into social media, social networking, the technology is hard enough, right? Then trying to be able to, connect with experts like you do. What advice would you give someone like starting out that's watching this video that is just starting to get into their niche and wants to talk to their experts in their niche? What advice would you give them?
Oh, that's simple. Ask. You just ask. You send them. You get their email address. You can find it online, and you just say, "Hey," tell them who you are. Tell them that you've read their book. You really like it, and then say, "Hey, I would certainly like to interview you. Regarding your book, and on Blog Talk Radio, where they have access to X amount of listeners." And that's really it. And as you know, people who are in any type of field that they're passionate about, they really love to talk. They love to just bump their gums about, different topics and the information that they've written about. I mean, that's the goal, is to get the information out there. I don't care if 5 people are listening to a radio show. If somebody asks me to be on it, I'm certainly going to say yes, because you never know who those 5 people are going to be. You never know how much you're going to be able to help those people as well. And so just ask, and gosh, 9 times out of 10, they will say yes.
Now, who's been your most influential interviewer or interviewee that you've had on your show, your Blog Talk?
Oh, whoa, why are you gonna do me like that? I don't even want to answer that question. I give you a top five.
Okay,
I'll give you a top five in no particular order. I think number one would be Chris Kresser. I love that guy. He's a super cool guy. ChrisKresser.com. There'd be Paul Chek, of course. Kevin Gianni was really fun to interview. He's a raw food vegan. Most people would think that we would be at odds, but I really don't take things so seriously. Kevin Gianni's super cool. T.S. Wiley, I love her, author of Lights Out. And then I'd have to go with, oh, you're killing me on this one. I'd probably go with Rob Wolf because he's a super nerd. I like that guy.
Nice. All great gurus, like in their own niches too. I mean, you've picked people from all different kind of aspects of health. Now, for you, who do you follow for social media?
Who do I follow for social media? Scott Stratton is somebody I like to read his posts or his tweets. He's the author of Unmarketing, so he has some pretty decent tips, or I should say good tips for people who are doing social media. Of course, I follow Rob. I follow Chris. Let's see, Dan Sanfilippo from BalanceBites.com. Though, I primarily just, go through my Twitter and look for good health information, good did you knows, looking for good articles that people have written that can, certainly teach me something so I can teach others what was in that article. But yeah, those are my Twitter peeps right there, my primary Twitter peeps.
Nice. Like, because I know for myself, there's some guys for health I follow, and then guys I follow for social media because, as you know, there's so much information in both realms that to keep up with it's just impossible. What do you think?
Very
Sean?
true. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, Twitter is a friggin' abyss. There's just so much stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? And so it is important for you to follow the people who are in the fields or talking about the information that you want to hear about. But for me in general, I just like to interact. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I know you're the Twitter doc and all that stuff, but for me, I really try to keep it simple and just interact and just, be present on Twitter and chat with people and respond to people and, hit people up and ask them questions and then conduct little polls and drop did you knows. As long as I'm active on there, it's just going to continue to grow. And so, Twitter's a really cool place. I prefer Facebook personally. I'm kind of a Facebook junkie, but Twitter is extremely, extremely helpful.
Okay, now we're talking about Facebook. What about all these changes that are happening?
Right.
The new timeline that's happening. What's your thoughts on that?
To be honest, I'll keep it real. I think people really need to chill. You know what I'm saying? I mean, gosh, whenever there's like a little tiny change on Facebook, people start tripping out, and we haven't even given the timeline a chance. We haven't even really seen the timeline. So it may be the coolest thing we've ever seen before. People will complain for a week, and then they kind of forget about it. I posted a Facebook post the other day. I said, if you're unhappy with the Facebook changes, call headquarters and get your money back. You know what I'm saying? It's a free service, and it's really our choice whether or not we want to put our private information and whatnot on there. Nobody's making us do that. And, again, we don't know how cool or uncool the timeline is going to be, but we will find out. And if we don't like it, then we can move over to Google+. I mean, it's really our decision. And I think Facebook obviously has a lot of brilliant people over there. They obviously do a lot of testing, with the new concepts that they've got going on. I'm sure they didn't run these tests and everybody hated them, so they said, okay, let's go ahead and change it. I'm sure they did their due diligence with this, and so let's leave it to the smart guys to do what they've got to do, and I'm sure 3 months from now we'll all be like, oh my God, I love my timeline, I love it, but a lot of folks are resistant to change.
Now, what do you think about the Facebook versus Google Plus kind of rivalry that's starting to come up?
Mhm. I see it. I see the rivalry, and I'm sure that's why Facebook is changing. They're adapting to the times. They're adapting to their competition, which is what you always need to do in any type of business. To be honest, and you and I talked about this before, I'm not that familiar with Google Plus. With Facebook and Twitter, I mean, that's already enough because I have so many other things to do, as far as reading, writing, getting ready for radio shows and all that stuff. And so, the only way personally that I'll ever go to Google Plus is if Facebook just starts really sucking, and we'll find out. But Facebook and Twitter are enough. Again, I don't really know much about Google Plus, unfortunately. I know the advantages. You told me the advantages as far as like search engine rankings and all that stuff.
Right.
But man, there's only so many things a guy can do.
So true, so true. I mean, yeah, like we were talking before offline that, if you're using Google Plus and Google Places, and YouTube and all that, Google starts to rank you better, especially if your branding is seamless right across the board. You're talking about the same, topic, same category. You get better rankings. Now, the challenge that I'm seeing through Facebook and Google is because Google is dominating video, now Facebook's starting to come out with a way of streaming video through Facebook. So now you can watch full movies and TV shows through Facebook. So they're trying to, it's one of these competitions that they're going to keep stepping up. So it's great in the sense of the guys like us, we get to go along for the ride and have fun with all this technology. The ones like you're saying, the ones that are kind of like getting into the fight, those are ones that are going to lose out. It's for us to kind of just have fun with and see where we can play. Right? And that's how I see it.
Yeah, let's use it to our advantage. That was a good take, man. That was good. I like that.
Because I like you said, Sean, like right now, everyone needs to just kind of relax and enjoy it, right? Enjoy it because Twitter's free, Facebook's free, Google Plus is free, YouTube's free. But you get so much great content information, be thankful for it. Versus if this was 10, 15 years ago, this all wouldn't be available. I mean, you look at the trends right now, how quickly social media, Facebook, Twitter has come about. I mean, they're still young.
Yes, I mean, could you imagine 5-10 years from now what it's going to be like? What social media is going to be like? It's going to be ill. Like we're literally like in the infancy of social media. It's not ever going to go away. It's just kind of unfortunate. It's kind of unfortunate though. It's kind of how we communicate. You know what I mean? It's a little weird. It's really weird to be honest. We had a blackout out here in San Diego. About a month ago, and it was a trip because people actually started communicating with each other and meeting their neighbors and playing board games and doing stuff that people used to do. And so I love social media, but there certainly are a few drawbacks to it.
Well, true, I mean, because you have to look at we get online, you get connected, but then that personal interaction starts to kind of slow down or decrease because now you're Facebooking, you're posting your images, you're doing all that. And then you're spending all this time on it, and then versus going out for dinner with some families or friends, going to a club. I know you go and party sometimes. Doing all that starts to negate because people are so concerned of what everyone's doing online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's different. It works, but it's just a little bit different. I wonder, like 5 years from now, are we actually going to speak to each other? Are we going to be like, you know what I'm saying? But hey, we'll see.
Well, look at the future right now. As you see, Sean, I mean, you've known from an early stage with YouTube. It looks like video is starting to become more and more the king, where you're looking at Hangouts and Google+. Facebook is starting to integrate with Skype. All these tools are starting to become video friendly. So now you can do the things like we're doing where you're interviewing live over a webcam and a mic, whatever that may be, but you can interact through video now versus just chat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's becoming a, George Jetson world these days. And that's really cool, man. Like we can just, I love Skype. I love the fact that I can talk to somebody, like you're in Canada, I'm in the States, and we can talk face to face like this. That's really cool. And so, gosh, they're really stepping it up to a whole new level. And, yeah, we got the little FaceTime deal on our Macs. We got all kind of face-to-face video stuff. I think it's really cool. I think it's really fascinating, and I'm interested to see where it even goes from there. How like are we gonna be able to hologram people and into our homes? Like, what's the deal? But yeah, I think it's cool.
So now, what's the future of Underground Wellness? What are you seeing for yourself and your business?
The future for Underground Wellness. I have a book coming up. in a matter of maybe a week or so, The Dark Side of Fat Loss is coming out. Just took a few new clients that I'm working with in terms of like consulting, health and wellness, weight loss and whatnot. I want to start putting out a project or an e-product every 3 months. That's the goal. I'm pondering whether we want to shoot a documentary. It's going to depend on how the book sales go. Or do I want to put together a 30-day diet and lifestyle transformation e-course, to come out around New Year's Day. Kind of get people, moving toward their resolutions or their objectives for the year. I really don't know. It's between those two things right now. Just getting more into getting products out there instead of working on the one-on-one, like working on, the masses through products, and eventually having like Underground Wellness headquarters with classes and a radio show booth and a gym, and just taking it big, having a yearly Underground Wellness conference, kind of like the Western A. Price Foundation does. I mean, I really want to take it to a whole new level. So that's why we're hoping these book sales go really well. We need some seed money for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so true, so true.
Stuff don't happen for free.
Well, that's awesome, Sean. Now, right now you said your book, right, coming out. Do you have a website where people can go and kind of follow the development of the book, or is it just Underground Wellness?
Yeah, it's you can go to undergroundwellness.com. If you join my email list, we'll go ahead and send you the first chapter of the book, which people have absolutely loved. Got my first review of the book back last night. I sent it out to a friend, and he absolutely loved it, so was really excited about that. But yeah, undergroundwellness.com, or you can tweet me at UGWellness, or on Facebook, facebook.com/undergroundwellness.
Okay, now guys, what I'm going to do, under the description, if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, under the description I'll have all Sean's links and websites, so you can actually click on his website. You can follow him on Facebook, you can follow him on Twitter, and Blog Talk Radio. So I'll have all his links below, so just so you guys can see all the properties of social media that Sean has. And then, yeah, we'll make sure that everyone kind of is aware of that, Sean. Now, with practitioners that are starting to come into the industry, what advice do you have for them to brand, to niche, to market?
Do it.
Okay.
Realize that, as you were talking about earlier, that, we are living in an age where marketing is totally free. And so pick your medium, pick what you do best. So if you're a writer, start blogging. Connect with people like myself, like Rob Wolf, like Chris Kresser, people who have big lists, who have big Twitter lists, and start sending them articles. And if we like it, we'll go ahead and blast it out to our people and start to generate traffic to your website so you can start picking up clients. And so it's really a good way to market. If you like video, turn your webcam on and just go. You're not going to be good from day one. I wasn't good from day one. I was terrible. And so compared to who I am now, my eyes used to dart all over the place. You say, all right, every 3 words. And so you'll get better over time. Don't expect to be good from day one, but just keep putting out good information, put out good content if you're doing video or anything, and realize that the average watch time for a YouTube video is just 10 seconds. And so you got to make sure that you have some type of attention-getting device, that you have enthusiasm, that passion just resonates off of you. If you're a person who just likes to talk, if you're a phone person, then if you're good at interviews, use Blog Talk Radio. Utilize these tools. Start with one and then move on to another one if you like. But if you excel at that one and you just want to stick with that one, then just do that one. And again, if you put out good content, this is what Gary Vaynerchuk says, you put out good content, people will follow you. If you don't put out good content, then people won't. And so be enthusiastic, have passion, pick the one you like the most, and just do it.
That's awesome, Sean. And yeah, it's so true. Now, I find in this industry, so many people are trying to do so much. They're trying to do Facebook, they're trying to do Twitter, Google+, YouTube, Blog Talk Radio, blogging, writing. And like you're saying, it's just that focus, right? If you can focus on one and then build, your community builds. And then as you get better and better, if you want to dabble, then you can. But like you're saying, stick in one, which is great advice.
Yep.
Now, do you coach?
I went from video. real quick, I went from video to a year later to radio to about a year and a half later going into written blogs. And so it's been kind of a step-by-step deal. You asked if I do coaching?
Yeah, like if someone was going to come to you, right? I know you do the holistic coaching with nutrition and health issues, but do you do business coaching as well?
Really don't do too much business coaching. If somebody wants to just kind of pick my brain a little bit, then I certainly can do that for them. If they want some social media tips, then, come on over. I'll certainly give you some tips. I do a really good social media marketing lecture that I've done for Todd Durkin over at Fitness Quest 10. I'm doing that as mentorship next month. But yeah, I really don't do business coaching. I am open to asking, to answering questions though, for sure.
That's awesome. And you guys, like again, Sean's contact information will be below. So if you have any questions of how he's built anything, how he's become like a YouTube partner, how he created Blog Talk Radio, how he got onto iTunes and the iTunes store and everything, you can send Sean a message, and like he's saying, he'll answer any questions. Now, Sean, anything closing? We just have a little bit more time. Anything you want to add? Anything you want to kind of tell the community about you or what they should be looking forward to?
I do want to add that it's like 7:30 in the morning and I'm a little bit tired. my peeps are like, where's all Sean's enthusiasm? Where's it at? Like, man, I'm tired right now. But no, I mean, I can't really say anything else, but just do it. Don't let it sit and marinate in your head forever. You're going to get that paralysis by analysis. Just, hey, if you got a webcam on your computer right now and you've got something to say, go ahead and say it. And, upload that baby to YouTube and open up yourself a Twitter and a Facebook account. You have to start somewhere. I started somewhere and it was a slow growth, and 4 or 5 years later, here we are. And so it's going to take time. I think a lot of people out there get a little bit frustrated because they expect things to just take off from the beginning, and it just doesn't work that way. You start something today, it's going to move slowly, but just always keep in your mind, ask that question, hey, where is it going to be next year? Where is it going to be the year after that? It's just it's an investment of your time, it's an investment of your energy, and it will pay off. That's for sure.
That's awesome. And one thing I like to add is be consistent. One thing I know with Sean, he's done over and over again. He's on a consistent schedule. So what happens is his community, right, can follow him and know, when Sean's going to be available, when Sean's going to do his show, when Sean's doing videos, when Sean's doing his blog. His community knows, so they can follow him. Right, it's a great thing,
Exactly.
Sean.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
So, guys, what I'm going to end off is Sean's information, like I said, is in the description below. Like I said, all his social properties, his website, his blog, his Twitter, Facebook, YouTube channel, Blog Talk Radio, all the links are going to be below. So follow Sean, download his podcast, stuff like that. Really listen to what Sean has to say because he's got some great information. Sean, thanks for your time, and hopefully we won't have to wake you up early next time.
Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Cool. Talk to you soon.
Yep.